Hey, what's going on, everybody? Rollshambo here. If you're new here, welcome in. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Today, I'm talking about this. Spyderco Manix 2 in S30V, black on black. This one is the completely murdered out version with the DLC coating. If you don't know what DLC stands for, it stands for diamond-like coating. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you might be thinking to yourself, geez, Rollshambo loves his Spydercos. Guys, I do. I'm a big fan of Spyderco, and honestly, I think that they just make good knives. What a beautiful knife this is. This one is designed by not Sal Glesser, but Eric Glesser, the son. The man that built the company is Sal Glesser. He's the one that's known for a lot of the crazy designs, like the paramilitary, the original. And the guy is just a genius. Whether it's the blade shape, whether it's the steel being used, whether, it's adopting weird Benchmade like, ball bearing locks. The guy's a mad genius. He's a mad scientist, hidden away in the dark recesses of Golden, Colorado, huddled closely together with college students in the Coors Brewery. Of course he makes good knives. I have 3 Spydercos. This is one of them. What they share in common is that they are all made at the Golden, Colorado factory. I know if you're a Spyderco fan, you're going to say, but Rollshambo, they make great knives out of Taichung, Taiwan. That's their best factory. You're right. I do have an affinity for American-made companies. I'm not biased towards them. I just like buying from them because anytime you buy from an American company, you're going to be supporting your country's economy. Your money goes right back in. And that's not to say that doesn't happen when you go and you buy from, Spyderco Taiwan. It's just not made here. And, ironically, if you were to look really closely on that blade, you'll see that instead of just saying made in the USA, it says Golden, Colorado, USA, Earth. That's pretty cool. They're almost poking fun at people like me. They're like, I gotta have my American-made knife because down there in Kentucky, listen, as long as it's a good knife at a fair price, you won't hear me complain, okay? Now, at this point, I want to go ahead and get into some specs. The Spyderco Manix 2 comes in at 8 inches overall. The blade is bit shy of 3.5 inches. It's 3 3/4 or 3.375. That one's a bit of a doozy. It's got a just shy of a 3-inch cutting edge. Blade thickness is actually a bit thinner than that of the Yojimbo 2. So if you're a fan of the Yojimbo 2, the spine of the blade is actually thinner than it is on the Yojimbo 2. That one's going to come in at 130 thousandths of an inch. And of course, they consider this a drop point. Now, if you're familiar with the Spyderco Para 3, they also consider that to be a drop point, and they consider the Para 2 to be a drop point as well. It is the oddest looking blade out there, and I heard you guys on my Para 3 video when you said, I just don't like the blade shape. Some of you said that. It also happens to be my most popular watched video that I have on my channel. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to pop a link to that in the corner, and you can go check it out. My point is that, see what I did there? My point is that Spyderco is just known for doing these things that are just not normal. I want you to take a look at the ball bearing lock. Now, that ball bearing lock is very similar to what you're going to find on a Benchmade. It's not the same lock, it's just really similar. And ever since Benchmade released the copyright or the patent that was keeping people from making locks like this, companies like Spyderco stepped up. Companies like Hogue stepped up, and we got some really cool knives. Go us. We won the customer, because nothing against Benchmade, but it's just cool to be able to get locks like this and not have to get a Benchmade. I understand they're not the same knife. This one does not use an Omega spring. Thank goodness for that. But there were a lot of things holding companies back from making these locks or locks like it. If you've been following knife drama lately in the knife community, you know, there are companies, and I'm not going to name names, but there's companies out there that will sue you if you have a similar design. And that's just not good PR. Come on. So, anyways, the moment Benchmade released that and they said, go for it, go nuts, show us what you got. We're not afraid to go ahead and go toe to toe with anybody. And then Spyderco came out and said, aha, we've got the Manix 2 with the ball bearing lock, completely different. And it's not completely different. Essentially, what it is right here, you'll notice this tab. You pull down on this tab, and it releases the blade. Now, you don't have to pull down on the tab to release it. It will release on its own, but you'll notice that that tab goes up and down. So what it's doing is there's a ball bearing sitting on the back edge, or not really an edge, but it's sitting in the back right there against the tang of the blade. And when the blade moves, so does the ball bearing. Now there's a lock or a notch, and when that goes open, it locks it shut. That is so solid. That is so solid. That lockup, Spyderco claimed that this could be their strongest lock. Now, as a huge fan of the compression lock on the Para 2s and the Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3s, I'm blown away by a stronger lock. You might notice that this one has a bit more wear and tear. And the reason behind that is that this knife is not brand new. And in fact, it can be difficult to find. You can find the Manix 2. You can find it on Amazon. And you can find different variations on Blade HQ and other knife retailer websites. If you want one like this that has the S30V blade, you're going to probably want to go to Amazon, because if you go on Blade HQ, if you're a fan of Blade HQ, I'm telling you, the only ones they have are with the FRN handle scales. They've got one with BDN, and then I think they've also got one with CPM Spy 27, which is a crazy steal. Just like with the Para 3 and the Paramilitary 2, you're going to find this in a lot of different runs and sprints. By the way, shout out, if you're watching, shout out to the two gentlemen, there was two of you, that pointed out in my Para 3 video that I said that you could get a Para 3 in Magna Cut. Yeah, no, that was me misspeaking. You can't get it in Magna Cut yet. I guarantee you're going to be able to get the Para 3 in Magna Cut at some point. And when that happens, I have a feeling, with this being one of their more popular knife models, that you'll also be able to get the Manix 2 in Magna Cut. It's not out there yet. Mark my words, it will happen. I guarantee it. Just like the Men's Warehouse commercial, you're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it. You're going to get it in Magna Cut. I guarantee it. Now, let's go ahead and compare against some other well-known Spydercos. First, we're going to go up against the Para 3. And you'll notice that I've got a different clip on there. I got a lot of different opinions on the karambit ring, retention ring, whatever you want to call it. But the truth is that as long as you like it, that's what matters. But it did inspire me to dig in my drawer and pull out a purple pocket clip with purple titanium screws and a purple backspacer, because I thought, aha, what could annoy people more than a karambit ring? Probably a purple clip and purple backspacer and purple screws. I love it. And you might also notice that this is no longer in the stock format. I could only do it for so long. before going back. You'll also notice, like I mentioned before, that the blade shape is a lot more normalized than the Para 3 or the Paramilitary 2. Now, let's check it out against another one. Now we're going to look at it up against a Spyderco Yojimbo 2. And this is actually a really great comparison for a couple different reasons. They're roughly very similar in overall length and in height. They are very similar in their ergos. I would say that they have similar-ish handles. Of course, this Yojimbo 2 has been modified. But this is where that more normalized blade on the Manix 2 really comes into play. If you don't want a super self-defense type knife like the Yojimbo 2 was designed to be, because that knife was designed by Michael Janich as a self-defense knife, if you want more of a worker knife, the Manix 2 is definitely where it's at. The Manix 2 is also a bit slicier because it has a thinner spine. There we go. Gosh, I don't know why I was blanking there. It's got a thinner spine. And now that we're done with the overhead hands model view, if you will, I want to show it off in the hand again. It's got jimping on the top here. It's got jimping on the finger choil. It's got jimping on the spine of the blade. This is a knife that was meant to be used. There's a very good reason why when I posted a video just, glowing over the Para 3, all of a sudden all these Manix 2 people came out of the woodworks like how dare I bring up Spyderco and not talk about the Manix 2? It's a new era, damn it. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, you don't have to pick one. You could have them both. In fact, most people that start really enjoying Spydercos usually end up buying more than one. And if you do, get a Manix 2. I'm going to link down below where you can find one just like this. Not with the cheap FRN handles, not with the BD1 steel, which is a perfectly fine steel. But if you're going to get one, get it in S30V. This was the steel that Chris Reeves says was the best knife steel available. So first off, we're going to start with our regular paper because we all hate paper, and this is the standard. Will it cut paper? It will cut. Let's be honest. When you pull out your knife, you're probably not going to cut paper. But maybe you got a hankering for some snacks. It will cut. So, I would definitely recommend the Spyderco Manix 2. If I lost this knife tomorrow, would I go out and buy another one? Absolutely. Whether you're a collector or someone that really likes to use their knives, the Manix 2 is just a great option. It fits well in the hand. The G10 handle scales are very grippy. If as Nick Shabazz would say, if you work in a Vaseline factory, this is for you. You're not going to lose this. I've carried this many times, many places, many different scenarios, and I'm here to tell you that this is one of the greatest knives that you can carry. It's going to fall into a lot of those states where they have knife laws that say 3 inches or less. You're good. If you live in a state where they say knife laws 3 inches or less, you're good. If you want something with great edge retention that's not too hard to sharpen, this is it. Guys, that's all I got for you. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe. I can't tell you how important that is for a small growing channel like my own. If you hated it and you're still here, please leave a comment and let me know why. I would love to make content that you like. I don't survive without your views, without your likes and your subscribes. That's how I know to keep making content. Guys, we'll see you in the next one.